General Karra Zenth stood on the command bridge of her flagship, the Sovereign Fist, her four-fingered hands clasped behind her back as she gazed at the view screen. The blue-green planet hung there like a jewel against the black canvas of space. "So this is Earth," she said, her voice a mixture of amusement and disdain. "The primitive world our scouts have been monitoring. Hardly seems worth the fuel we burned getting here." Commander Locks approached, datapad in hand. "My general, our scans confirm just one defensive vessel in orbit." "One? Can you believe it? The rest of their fleet must be hidden or perhaps this is all they have?" He couldn't suppress a chuckle. Karra's scaled brow furrowed. The Vazri Empire had conquered 17 star systems with her at the helm of the military. Each conquest required at least a dozen warships. Yet these humans defended their homeworld with a single ship? It was either supreme arrogance or supreme stupidity. "Hail them," she ordered, straightening her ceremonial armor. "Let's see what these creatures have to say before we vaporize their pathetic excuse for a defense." The communications officer complied, and moments later, a human face appeared on screen. Male, by their species' dimorphic standards. Unremarkable features, save for eyes that seemed too calm. Too knowing for someone staring down a fleet of 200 warships. "This is Captain Jake Mercer of Earth Defense Vessel, Handshake. To what do we owe the pleasure, General Karra Zenth of the Vazri Empire?" Karra froze. How did this human know her name? Her rank? Even the name of her empire? "You seem surprised, General," the human continued, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Did you think we wouldn't notice your scout ships? Or the quantum communications they've been sending back to your fleet for the past 3 years?" Locks gasped audibly. "Those scout missions were classified at the highest levels." "I propose a meeting," Mercer continued. "Face to face. You may bring 3 officers. We'll discuss terms." "Terms?" Karra found her voice again, lacing it with mockery. "You misunderstand the situation, human. There are no terms. There is only surrender." Captain Mercer nodded thoughtfully. Then, to her utter shock, he responded in perfect Vazri, complete with the formal military dialect, Sholkrevik na Toroth Val Kepa. Which translated roughly to, "The smallest blade often draws the most important blood." It was an ancient Vazri military proverb. One taught only to their highest-ranking officers. Karra felt a cold shiver travel down her spine. "Prepare my shuttle," she ordered, never taking her eyes off the human's knowing smile. "I believe I will accept the captain's invitation after all." #1 Kneel too many #Part 2, the negotiation. The conference room aboard the Sovereign Fist crackled with tension. Karra sat at the head of the obsidian table, flanked by her most trusted officers. Across from them sat Captain Jake Mercer, alone and unarmed, yet somehow commanding the space with his presence. "No guards? No advisors?" Karra asked, gesturing to the empty seats beside him. "Brave or foolish, Captain?" Jake smiled. "Neither. Just efficient." He placed a small metallic disc on the table. It hummed softly, projecting a holographic display of the Vazri homeworld. "Your planet is beautiful this time of year. The triple moons over the Kraden Sea are quite the sight." Commander Locke slammed his fist down. "Impossible. You've never been to our world." "Not physically, no," Jake replied, flicking his finger to change the display to images of Vazri military installations, government buildings, even what appeared to be Karra's private residence. "But we've been watching. Learning. For about 300 years now." Karra felt her blood run cold. 300. But we only achieved interstellar travel 120 years ago. "Yes," Jake nodded, as if speaking to a child. "We know. We watched that too. Humanity developed differently than most spacefaring species. We focused on observation technologies before conquest. While you were building bigger guns, we were building better eyes and ears. The display shifted again, showing detailed schematics of Vasri warship designs, complete with annotated weaknesses. This is outrageous. Admiral Plex bellowed. You spy on us, then flaunt it? Where is your honor? Jake's expression hardened. Honor? You came here with 200 warships to conquer a planet you thought was defenseless. Where is your honor, Admiral? Karra raised her hand, silencing Plex before he could respond. What do you want, human? Why reveal all this now? Jake leaned forward. Because the galaxy is changing. There are threats even the mighty Vasri Empire isn't prepared for. We've remained hidden to protect ourselves, but also to watch over less advanced species. Including yours. The statement hung in the air like a slap. Karra's facial ridges darkened with anger. You dare classify the Vasri as less advanced? We who have conquered 17 systems. Jake sighed, pressing another button on his device. Suddenly, all lights on the flagship flickered and died. Emergency systems failed to activate. Even the artificial gravity wavered momentarily. Yes, Jake said calmly as the systems gradually returned to normal. Less advanced. That was just one defensive ship interfacing with your systems. Imagine what a fleet could do. As realization dawned on Karra's face, the diplomatic crisis she had feared became unavoidable. #1 Kneel too many #Part 3. The revelation the tension in the conference room could have been sliced with a ceremonial Vasri blade. Karra stared at Jake, her reptilian eyes narrowed to slits. If what you claim is true, prove it, she challenged. Show me this supposed power that makes the mighty Vasri Empire look like children playing with toys. Jake nodded once and tapped his wrist communicator. Handshake, execute Protocol Omega. Authorization Mercer Blue 79. A soft feminine voice responded. Protocol Omega confirmed, Captain. Execution in 3, 2, 1. The view screen on the wall flickered to life, showing the space surrounding the Vasri fleet. Karra's jaw dropped as hundreds of ships suddenly materialized out of nowhere, surrounding her fleet in a perfect containment formation. Ships twice the size of her flagship loomed ominously close, weapons ports open but dormant. By the 7 moons, whispered Commander Lox. They were here the entire time? Jake leaned back casually. Phase shift technology. Your sensors can't detect what exists slightly out of sync with normal spacetime. We have over 500 vessels currently deployed around Earth. This is approximately 1/8 of our defense fleet. 1/8? Admiral Plex repeated, his voice barely audible. We could have conquered half the galaxy by now, Jake continued, his voice taking on a more somber tone. But that's not who we are. Humanity learned through our own bloody history that conquest only leads to more bloodshed. When we reached the stars, we made a choice. To watch. To learn. To protect when necessary, but never to dominate. Karra found her voice again. Why reveal yourselves now? Why not remain hidden? Jake's expression grew grave. Because what's coming next requires cooperation, not isolation. There are threats in the dark spaces between galaxies that would make your empire's conquests look like playground squabbles. He stood, walking to the view screen, pointing to a distant sector of space. 3 decades ago, we detected something moving towards the galaxy. Something old. Something hungry. The display zoomed in on what appeared to be empty space, then shifted spectrum to reveal a massive, shadowy form slowly advancing. Karra stared at the image, then back at Jake. For the first time in her military career, she felt true fear. Not for herself, but for her entire civilization. You could have let it come, she said quietly. Let it consume us while you remained safe in your isolation. Jake shook his head. That's not who we are. In that moment, Karra saw the truth. These humans weren't just technologically superior, they possessed something the Vaziri had lost in their endless conquests. Compassion, #1 Kneel too many #Part 4. The alliance, the command bridge of the Sovereign Fist, fell silent as General Karra Zenth, conqueror of 17 star systems and the most decorated military leader in Vaziri history, slowly lowered herself to one knee before Captain Jake Mercer. "What are you doing, General?" gasped Commander Lox. "This is beneath your station." Karra raised her hand to silence him. "No, Commander. For perhaps the first time, I am acting exactly as my station requires." She looked up at Jake. "This is not surrender. This is respect. You could have destroyed us at any moment, yet you chose to talk. To warn us. To offer partnership." Jake extended his hand, helping her to her feet in a gesture that shocked the Vaziri officers present. "Equals, General Karra. That's what we offer. Humanity doesn't want subjects or servants. We want allies." "The threat you showed us," Karra said. "How much time do we have?" 15 years, by your calendar," Jake replied. "Not much time to prepare for something that's already consumed 3 galaxies before ours." Admiral Plex approached cautiously. "You said you've been watching over less advanced species. How many others know of your existence?" Jake smiled cryptically. "None and all, Admiral. For centuries, we've been the invisible hand guiding galactic development. That peace treaty between the Vaziri and the Joltari Collective 50 years ago? The mysterious disappearance of the genocidal Krell Dominion? The sudden technological breakthrough that saved the Moraks from their dying sun?" Kara's eyes widened. "That was you? All of it?" "We call it the Guardian Initiative," Jake explained. "Thousands of human operatives embedded throughout known space, nudging civilizations away from self-destruction and toward cooperation. We've prevented 63 potential interstellar wars in the last century alone. And now you reveal yourselves because this threat is too big even for your hidden manipulations," Karra concluded. "Precisely," Jake nodded. "We need to return to Earth. My superiors are assembling representatives from 12 other major powers. You'll be the 13th. As they prepared to depart, Karra gazed out at the now visible human armada. "All this power, and you chose protection over dominance. Perhaps that's why you're worthy to lead this alliance." Jake shook his head. "Not lead, General. Guide. The difference matters." As their shuttle departed for Earth, Karra couldn't help but laugh. "We came to conquer a primitive world, and instead found the galaxy's hidden protectors. The universe has quite the sense of humor." Jake winked. "Wait until you meet our diplomats. Compared to them, I'm actually the primitive one."